How's it going, Charles Bodenston? Today we're going to be talking about something that is going to blow your mind. It's something that I forgot where I heard it. And, it's one of those things that you hear it and then you see an example of it and you're like, oh my God, it makes sense. So it's known as, it's actually not known as anything, but I'm going to say it's the paradox of hate. So the paradox of hate is that you secretly love it. You secretly really deeply care about it. So you can hate something. You can hate the other political party, or you can hate the other team, or you can hate whatever. I don't know, your neighbor, or a job, or doing something. And this is the thing. If you actually, you love doing it, you hate doing it, and then the third is indifference. So if someone brings up, say, a topic, and they're like, hey, listen, if they're like, hey, listen, do you like badminton? It's like, for me, I'm indifferent to it. Or like fencing. Like, if I'm going out and I'm fencing, like, the sport fencing. And I sit there and I'm like, I don't love it, and I don't hate it. I'm just indifferent. But there's things that I don't like doing. Say, I don't know, maybe getting into the subway. So the thing is, it's not like I hate it. That's a strong word. But there's things that you don't like. Like, I don't like going into the subway. I'd rather walk or bike there or take a cab or do anything. I live in New York City. So getting into the subway, it's dark and gloomy and people are negative and, it's just not the ideal place. But the transportation is really, really quick and it's really, really cheap. So that's the paradox, is that I use it. I'm not indifferent to it because I have an emotion about it. So perfect example is that one of my friends, and this is where it came from, and I'll tell you why right after this. So my friend and I were talking, and I bring up this idea about, someone said it. They're like, yeah, that what you don't like is secretly something that you do like, you just don't know how to do it. That's why you don't like it. That's crazy. People will say, oh, I don't like cycling or running or whatever. It's like, but if you're good at it, you actually may love it. So that's the thing, is that it's usually something you're not good at, or that's probably actually it, something that you're not good at. Because if you're good at it, then you'd probably like it. So it could be even, approaching that pretty girl. Guys are like, oh, I don't approach girls in person. I use dating apps. Or I don't like studying. Well, listen, if you're good at studying, if you're good at taking tests, if you're good at banter or talking to a stranger or calling on for business or going to the gym or running or whatever, anything in your life, if you're a good lover or you're a good fighter, whatever, you would secretly like that because you're good at it. But because you're not good at it, you don't like it. So that's really it. If you don't. And then there's, like I said, there's topics that you're indifferent about. Like, I'll bring up, say, China. And you're like, okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'm indifferent to it. Or whatever. So this is the thing. This is the example, is that my friend, he said in high school, he hated dancers. Male dancers. And I'm like, wow, that's a strong word, buddy. He's like, yeah, no, I didn't like them at all. And the reason is that he wasn't good, and he was secretly, this is interesting, and this is very vulnerable, and this is something that I implore everyone to do, is that when you don't like something, it's probably because you're not good at it, but also there's an underlying other reason about it. It's like you're not good at it, and something else about it. So my friend, I almost said his name, my friend was like, yeah, I don't like dancers, male dancers. And he said, because he's not good at it. But the second reason is because they got all the girls. They were really confident. They were outgoing. They're fun. They're energetic. So he didn't like dancing because he wasn't good at it. But secretly, I think the reason he didn't like dancing, or male dancers, or dancing in general, like he's like, oh, I don't like dancing. I'm not a dancer. So he never did it. But secretly, he actually wanted to learn how to do it, like how to dance. So that was the thing, is that when he learned how to dance, I think he took like a dancing class or whatever. And to be honest, I think dancing is one of the most important things. If you have no rhythm, you're going to be going to tons of weddings, tons of bar mitzvahs, and other things that include dancing, bars, clubs, whatever, or just having rhythm in general. You need it, So he learned how to dance in high school, and then out of nowhere, he loves it now. He's like amazing at dancing. And that's the thing, is that he's now that person he didn't like. But the thing is, it's not like he didn't like the art of dancing. He just didn't like that he wasn't that person. So do you understand that? It could have been anything. It could be an athlete. Like you're like, oh, I don't like jocks. It's like, all right, dude, do you not like jocks because they get all the girls, they're confident, they're popular, they're cool, or whatever, like the stereotypical jock? Or do you not like it because you're not a jock? And this is also the paradox, is that why do you care? Why do you care about them so much? Is it you're not happy with yourself? That's secretly also the reason that you may not like something, is that you're just not happy about yourself. So I'll give you an example. For myself, is I wasn't smart growing up. I never got good grades. I almost failed out of high school, almost failed out of college. I took another semester to graduate college because I liked it so much. No, I just wasn't good. And I didn't like smart people because I think I didn't like them because they're able to carry on a conversation, and I secretly was insecure about talking to a smart person. Like you're secretly, say someone brings up a topic and you're like going along with it, and then they start going to the next level, and then you don't understand that gap of understanding it, and then you're like, ugh, they kind of lost me. So that was it, is that I was insecure talking to smart people, so I'm like, oh, I don't like smart people. But really deep down inside, I actually wanted to be smart. So that was the thing. Now that I think about it, it's crazy, is that I only read like maybe 2 books until age 21, 22. Say 20, till I graduated college. Till I graduated college, I read 2 books, cover to cover, in my whole life. After college, I noticed that I can read books that I want to read and get smart in the areas that I choose. And then I started reading more, and I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, I can learn about marketing or sales or meeting people, how to win friends and influence people. I can't believe I almost just forgot that. Or learn about fear, or learn about anything. The theory of relativity. Doesn't matter. There's books over here. There's science books by Brian Greene over here. I think it's Brian Greene, right? Yeah. Brian Greene, who's an amazing scientist. And it's an area that I would never have thought that I would be interested in. But I love it. Multi dimensions and the theory of relativity. And, it's just amazing how intricate science can get. And it's actually, there's a series on it. But anyway, so number 1 is the paradox of hate, is that you secretly may love it. Okay, so now I love reading and I love smart people. I can only hang out with smart people. Like, I don't like talking to dumb people, which is ironic because I used to be that person. I used to be that unintelligent, insecure person. So, and then here's another one, is I also didn't like really outgoing people because I wasn't outgoing. So I was like, oh, I don't like them. And it's like, dude, you don't like them because you're not outgoing. And then I started, oh my God, 10 years ago, I started being like, okay, I'm going to try this way. So you go like extreme. So I was like the really nice guy that got no girls, and I was kind of manipulating people to like me, which is really a nice person. A nice person's manipulating who they are. They're not being true to who they are. They're manipulating themselves so other people will like them, which is crazy. So I then went to like the complete opposite, which is I was an asshole and blah, blah, blah. So I went from a really nice guy to an asshole. And then over the years, I found out, okay, it's true to who you are, but you have to microcalibrate. So number 1 is the paradox of hate, is that you may secretly love that. But the paradox of hate also comes down to is, what don't you like about it? Is it because you are not good at it, or because you secretly want to be that person? You want to be that athlete. You want to be that wealthy person. A lot of these people hate on the 1%. I'm in New York City. I've met really, really, really rich people. Like, unbelievable. Like, fuck you money. Like, literally just like, I have money coming out of every porous of my body. And they're unbelievably nice and generous. They give away like 15-20% of their money every single year, and they're getting taxed at 45%. And for someone to say the 1%, it's like, do you secretly want to be wealthy? Is that why? Like, think about it. And like, it's a question. It's one of those things. Question why you don't like someone or something. That's the biggest thing, is that why make a judgment on an entire population, athletes, the wealthy people, smart people, fit people, like, oh, I don't like fit people, or I don't like football players. Do you secretly want to be wealthy or fit or happy or enthusiastic? Is that why? For me, I didn't like I said, outgoing people. So then I'm like, you know what? I actually want to be outgoing. That's why I don't like them, because I'm not them, but I secretly want to be them. So think of something that you don't like, something that I could use the word hate. And I hated smart people, because I'm like, how do they do that? How do they read a book, memorize it, take a test, and score 100%? I remember sitting there, and I went to a really good high school, and I remember sitting there on stage, or looking up at the stage. I was sitting in the seats, looking up at the stage, and I'm like, how do these people like get 100% through the whole 4 years? That's insane. So I didn't like them, but now I know I secretly wanted to be them. So think of things that you don't like, things that you really, and then, like I said, there's 2 questions you ask yourself. Why? Seriously, why don't I like them? It's probably because you're not good enough to be that. In other words, you're not good enough to be wealthy right now, or be fit, or be smart, or be energetic, or be an athlete. And then also ask yourself, here's the real big kicker, is, do you secretly want to be that? There's things that you don't like. Say you're a eco-friendly person and you don't like oil, or you don't like oil companies. Like, you don't secretly want to be an oil executive. Like, I'm not talking about that. But there's things in your life that you're like, "Urgh," but you're deep down inside, you're like, nah, actually, I kind of want to be that person. So what would be an example, right? I don't have a despise for anyone really right now. Like, I've learned slowly that everyone's on their own path, and I'm gonna make a video about this. Everything that comes into your life is perfect. But anyway, we're already on 13 minutes. I hope this helped, because we have all this negativity. We have all this desire to not like a certain group of people. And I'm not talking about gender or race. I'm talking about like enthusiastic or positive people. I see that all the time. People are like, they're like, how? I don't like people that are just always positive. It's like, okay, why don't you like positive people? Like, that's insane to me. Well, you don't like what? Why? Like, I secretly think that, or they're like, or someone that goes to the gym a lot or lifts a lot, someone that's really big at the gym and they're lifting all this weight. It's like, for them to get that way, they put in a lot of discipline. So for me, I'm like, that's awesome, dude. So root them on. But if there's someone doing something bad that you don't agree with, that's cool. But secretly look at the things that you hate, you don't like, and find out, is it because you're not good enough to be that, and do you secretly want to be them? So all the links to my social mediums are below. I guess I'll give you my top 3, which is Snapchat, Instagram, and iCharles.com. And I'll add in a 4th, which is my podcast. I'm actually going to record a podcast right after this on my morning routine. So all the links are below. Have an awesome day. Find out what you don't like. Leave the comments below on something that you don't like or something that you secretly want to be, and see if you have angst about it. All right? Have an awesome day. Talk to you guys soon. And share the video. A lot of people are like, you should have 1 billion subscribers. I'm like, I know. Maybe I should. So that'd be awesome if you share it and spread the word. Talk to you soon, guys. Have a